What's going on, guys? Gilly Writes Comics here, also known as Gilbert Del Trez. It's been a while since I did a video. It's been crazy with quarantine, trapped inside 4 walls with my family. But hey, life goes on. We got to keep on grinding, right? So if you guys didn't know, I am the creator of Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. I successfully launched a 100-page volume 1 last year for that campaign, and due to the COVID pandemic, we haven't been able to produce pages as efficiently as we were, and it's been hard on the whole team. I'm a family man. Also, Sebastian Navis is a family man, and it's hard for him to get into the creative headspace that it takes to produce a top quality GROM page. However, we are professionals, and we do plan to release the book, although instead of releasing during the spring-summer timetable we're hoping for, we're looking now at a winter release date. So for everyone who backed that campaign, rest assured, we are hard at work producing GROM, and we do have plans to fulfill that. Now, in the meantime, I'm not your average guy. I think weirdly out of the box. I don't know if it's the left side of my brain or the right side of the brain. I forget which is the one that the artists tap into, but I'm always busy. And like I said, I'm hungry, I'm ambitious, and I want to make a career out of making comics. And the only way I can do that is by grinding out the hard way, book after book. And, I don't have any connections. I don't have any pull within the industry. I'm just your average, determined, go lucky guy, I guess you can say. Anyway, I recently received a Twitter DM from a backer who was concerned, and they say, "Hi Gilbert, saw that you launched 3 more campaigns since GROM. As you are a month late on GROM and have started another campaign for a variant, I would like to request a refund for GROM, as I no longer support books that are both late and not prioritized before other works. Thank you for your understanding." Everyone has a right to a refund. Now, I will issue that refund once GROM is complete, and if they still want a refund, then I will gladly give you a refund. Now, my issue is where you are worrying about books that are late and prioritized before other works. Galactic Rodents of Mayhem is my biggest campaign that I have crowdfunded. Now, the reason why you're looking at a blank table is because I want you guys to know that I take my crowdfunding very seriously. I launched my webcomic into a comic book, Under the Flesh. I did that 6-7 years ago. So I'm just going to go down the line of campaigns and comic books that I have successfully funded and that I have fulfilled, so you guys know my track record, and you guys understand that although I may be crowdfunding more campaigns than you're used to for one creator, you need to understand that I'm not your average guy. I'm a comic book creator that is hungry, that is determined, and that wants to make an impact in the industry. Whether I can do that or not remains to be seen, but the only way I can do that is by grinding out books and by keeping my backers happy. So with that being said, I am prioritizing every single one of my campaigns. Every single campaign that I throw out is a priority for me. And me launching a Galactic Rodents of Mayhem Floppy campaign, why not? Since we're delayed due to COVID pandemic, I thought it'd be a cool thing to offer some more GROM happiness. You're not forced to back this in any way at all. I present the option. If it funds, great. If it doesn't fund, oh well, I could try again with a lower goal, or then it just can't happen. But either way, boom. Under the Flesh. This was my first crowdfunded campaign. We got the Kickstarter wraparound cover. This was launched in 2014, 2015. Forgive me if I can't remember correctly. You can Google it. But boom, fulfilled. Here's another variant cover in that same first issue. Compliments of the Kickstarter. Boom, fulfilled. Under the Flesh issue number 2. Boom, fulfilled. After we fulfilled Under the Flesh, my artist at the time, he got some Marvel work due to submitting some Under the Flesh samples. So I'm happy that my artist was able to get some work. I wanted him to stay on board. He got busy, and we do have plans to eventually come back to Under the Flesh. It's going to be a special story. This is not done yet. However, after that, I went on to launch Lair. Boom, on Kickstarter. How do you know this one's a Kickstarter cover? This one is the very hard stock. This was printed by Kraken Print before Kraken Print went broke. Okay, so this was Lair Kickstarter. Boom, right there. After the Kickstarter campaign, I brought it to Indiegogo because I wanted to create. I wanted to have more books for me to sell as a seller at a conventions. I never hit the Comic-Con circuit. I needed some books. All I had was for the initial shipment for the backers. I didn't have enough for extra. I launched a campaign. Boom. Here's Lair, the Indiegogo version. This one has a softer cover. This cover is way more softer. This one wasn't done by Print Ninja. This one was done by Greco Wellspring. But here's the Kickstarter version that I did, the first printing with Kraken Print. And here is the softer cover through Greco Wellspring. So after Lair, what was I doing? I wanted to write a Western. Why? Because I always loved Westerns. It's just, I grew up with my dad watching Westerns. I wanted to do a Western. Instead of doing Man with No Name, I came up with something I thought was cool, something I thought was daring, bold, something I thought you wouldn't have been seeing on TV or cinema. What'd I bring you? Boom, pregnant gunslinger, Mexican teen. She's looking for vengeance against a sheriff who violated her. A very, very controversial book, maybe for some. It's a story. If Quentin Tarantino could get away with writing Django Unchained, I can get away with writing Pistoleta. It's my story. I was able to crowdfund this. This was one of the variant covers through Kickstarter. Boom, fulfilled. Another variant cover through Kickstarter. Boom, the sepia version. Another variant cover through Kickstarter. Boom, we got our magazine style version of Pistoleta. Very few. I sold this at the first convention I did in Tampa Bay. Fulfilled. After that, I launched a small campaign on Indiegogo, very small. Here's our Indiegogo cover. Boom, Pistoleta. Here's another variant cover. Boom, Pistoleta, fulfilled. After that, I did Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. Galactic Rodents of Mayhem is a work in progress. It was 100 pages. And now looking back, I realized I should have done things a lot differently, but that's part of learning. I'm glad I was able to crowdfund that book, and I can cut my wrist right on camera and bleed all over the table to let you know that's how diehard I am about giving Galactic Rodents of Mayhem to every one of my backers. My word is my bond. If I have to put extra funds in there because of miscalculations, that's what I do because I'm a professional. But that will be fulfilled. So after GROM is fulfilled, literally right after Galactic Rodents Mayhem was filled, I know it was controversial, but I launched another campaign. Why? Because my Under the Flesh artist, JL Giles, had some availability in his schedule. He's a buddy of mine, and we always wanted to do a black and white horror anthology together. And guess what? Right after launching Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, he had time on his schedule. I said, you want to do this? Let's do it. I didn't have a script in mind. I didn't have a story in mind. I never do that. I always have a script. I always have a story. I have things ready. I didn't have that ready. But we worked. We grinded out a pitch. We worked on stuff that he wanted to write, stuff that I wanted to write. And what do we have? Boom, the Deep Dark. Here's our above cover from our new imprint with JL Giles called Call of the Void. Boom, fulfilled. Here's another variant cover, the Deep Dark below cover. Boom, fulfilled. This was fulfilled on Indiegogo right after Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. You just got to have the will. You just got to have the desire. We did it. It wasn't easy. I wouldn't recommend crowdfunding to my worst enemy because it's very stressful, but we were able to get that done. After that, we launched the Deep Dark on Kickstarter with a separate cover, the bride cover. Boom, fulfilled. All these have been fulfilled. This is about 4, 5, 6 years of work of my crowdfunding credentials here. So when people say, "Oh, who are you? I don't know what you wrote." Yeah, you don't know what I wrote because I'm Joe Blow. But guess what? I got dreams, I got desires, I'm working hard for them, and I'm attaining them, okay? For those who back my books, I appreciate you. Me and you are going on a journey, a long journey to what I call making comics. And that's what I do. I make comics. I'm a comic book hustler. I put out stories. I put out stories that are very controversial, and a lot of times people don't want to touch them. But that's what I do. That's how I make my stories. I got the Deep Dark, very controversial. I got Pistolera, very controversial. I got also, what else? Lair, spiritual horror, very controversial. And Under the Flesh was me reinventing the zombie genre, very controversial. Okay? I use Bible scriptures in my story. I use themes people don't want to talk about. I use characters that you wouldn't expect. That's just what I do as a creative storyteller. Okay, guys? So just want to let you know that I take my crowdfunding very seriously. Every campaign that I fund that's 100%, it's coming. Understand that it will be fulfilled. Sorry for the pause. I'm just creating, more impact, right? So just showing you guys again. These are literally the only copies of Under the Flesh I had, that I found these in a box that I didn't even know I had these. So guys, understand, when you back my book, it will be 100% fulfilled. There have been times where I've had one example with Under the Flesh. I remember I had a backer that could not, I guess they didn't receive their copy, and it was for a specific cover, and that got lost in the mail. It did, and things happen. So if you're upset, let me know. I'll try my best to work with you. It also happened the same with Pistolera. And Pistolera, I only had I think one sepia cover left. This one is my personal copy. And I think I offered them, maybe since I didn't have any more at the time and I couldn't afford to do another order just for that, because you can't just do one order. They ask for, at least depending on your printer, a minimum of 50, 100, whatever. So I had sent them a Pistolera, a Sebastian Navas variant cover. They were like, yes, that's fine, send it. I sent it. So, I'm a human being. I'm creating comics, and if you're not happy, let me know, talk to me. But at the same time, I wish you guys the best, and I would also wish you guys patience, because crowdfunding definitely takes time. It's not easy. And as a showrunner who puts awesome creative teams together to create some really cool comics, I want you to know that I pride myself in my crowdfunding, and I take it very seriously. And if you guys back one of my books and my campaign is funded, you will 100% receive your book. I know there's campaigns of people who funded their books, made X amount of money, 6 figures, whatever. The backers never got their stuff, or maybe people in conventions and other people got it first, or they struck up deals with other publishers and those people got theirs first, and the real initial backers were left hanging. I don't do any of that stuff. I honor you guys. And with Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, I do have a publisher involved, and they will handle publishing. But my first duty is to the backers, and I'm making sure you guys get your books before anyone else gets their books. That's just what I stand behind. Anyway, guys, sorry for taking up too much of your time. I just want you to know that I take my crowdfunding very, 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 very seriously. I hope you all stay strong and stay safe out there. Till next time, guys. Later.